Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to another one of my games, I guess. I was actually going to make this a longer video, but I'm actually going to shorten it, because I'm having some technical issues. Combine OBS continually crashing on me with, despite this replay feature being in this game since patch like 0.7, Wargaming still not even publishing a list letting you know which replay files are going to be compatible with what replay versions, and with different patches and micro patches and everything. It starts becoming a bit of a headache if you're trying to replay any replay from anything that isn't the exact current patch, micro patches included. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to get this game, and then I'm going to find some time at some point to try and record some others, and also try and sort OBS out. I know what the problem is, it's just trying to find the time to deal with it. Anyway, what are we looking at? This is me, so let's just, don't expect anything too amazingly fancy, I guess. Driving the Mauerbrecher here. This is a Tier 8 Premium German heavy tank. That, if memory serves, was released about the time of the anniversary of the Berlin Wall coming down, hence it was called Mauerbrecher, Wallbreaker. This thing is essentially the same as the German Tier 8 regular heavy tank, the VK, what is it, 101p? I lose track of all these designations, but worse. And why is this worse? Because unlike pretty much every other heavy tank Wargaming have released in the last 3 years, this thing actually has weak spots that people can take advantage of. I know, steady on. What a controversial idea. So, not only... Ooh, hello Mr. Bulldog, how are you today? Oh, he ammo-racks me, of course he does. But anyway, not only is the, Commander's Cupola on top of the turret a weak spot, the machine gun port on the front of the hull is also a weak spot. Those people who've been in the game a while, remember when machine gun ports used to be weak spots? Ah, those were the days. Anyway, this is one of the first games I played in this thing. Now, a lot of people still sort of say that because this thing has weak spots, that makes the Mauerbrecher bad, and I'm not sure I'd call it bad. Now, I haven't played huge numbers of games in this thing, but 440 alpha damage is 440 on a tank with a turret and armour. Yes, it's got weak spots, but if you can keep wiggling and make it harder for people to aim at them, I mean, that forgives a lot of sins. It really does. Like, hello, Mr. KV, how are you today? You know, it's... Oh, yes, the Tier 8 VK 101p or whatever it's called is, as far as I can see, better. Which is a bit frustrating, but that doesn't necessarily on its own make the Mauerbrecher bad. It just makes it not the best. But anyway, oh, someone else picks up the kill on that KB3. Anyway, so we're here on Ruinberg. We're top tier, and this is proper, you know, top tier matchmaking. Like, we have tier 6s to shoot at, which is quite funny. This Tiger P, for the record, by the way, is doing a really good job of keeping the wreck between myself and him, or was doing a really good job, to try and prevent me shooting him in the butt. So, shout out to that Tiger P. Now, if you pay attention to the scoreline, you're going to notice this game going quite south, but you might also notice that we haven't been playing that long, and although the DPM on this tank sucks, 440 alpha damage forgives a lot of sins, and we're already up to 2,400 damage dealt, and 1,170 blocked by our armour, and 66 assistance, because, sure, assistance, I guess, why not? And a kill. So, yeah. Have you seen that scoreline, by the way? Yeah, this team is not very good. Oh, and we take another hit in the side from that Bulldog, the M41, the Black Dog. And another one. I need to cross this gap, like, I just do. Because this Carnarvon needs to be dealt with, and I know I'm exposing myself, but I don't really have the mobility to faff around too much. And it turns out I reversed too far. That Walker Bulldog's really got my number, and he's not spamming heat or anything, he's just firing good old-fashioned regular armour piercing. Turns out the Carnarvon is stock, which I didn't realise until this point, going for that lower front plate again, because he bounced on me, he'd done 150 damage, which means he's using the 17-pounder gun. Sucks to be him, rather than the 20-pounder, or, as it gets these days, the 32-pounder. Can I track him into the bargain? I instead decide to try and make sure of the penetrating shot by going for the lower front plate. We're up to 3.7k damage done, by the way. Like, 440 alpha on a tier 8 heavy really does offend. Just ploughing around this corner at this point because we need to. This team is just dying too quickly, we need to get the damage out. We take a penetrating hit from that Super Pershing who's firing APCR. I mean, if we take a penetrating hit from him, we take a penetrating hit from him. There's only so much we can do about it. We did get a fire on that Super Pershing though, so can we pick up the kill? Yes we can. Unfortunately, he puts another shot into us, but we're up to 4,500 damage done at this point. 1,620 damage blocked by our armour, and there's a lovely hit from artillery because we were having far too good a game apparently. Anyway, the scoreline's 8-11. We've done 4,500 damage in a tier 8 match with tier 6s to shoot at, I would like to point out. So that means there's even less damage to go around, and we're still 8-11 down. Go figure. Anyway, I'm now a one-shot. I've still blocked 1,620 damage with my armour, and even if my armour wasn't the best in the world, and it's not, but even if my armour wasn't working, I still have 1,700 hit points to work with at tier 8. And, like, we're just going to do what we can. Now, thinking about it, actually, quite a lot of the enemy tanks left alive are tier 6, who are not going to have a huge number of hit points between them. There's also, of course, well, that M41's actually been taken down, so actually they have no more top tier tanks left. There is, however, a WZ that we need to be careful of, but there's a Hellcat. There was a Hellcat. But 440 alpha damage against tier 6, that wrecks face, and, like, I mean, this guy, good luck, mate. That's just not really going to float, is it? So, my worry here is that if I drive forward, there's a good chance I'm going to get shot in the side by a WZ-131 or a Stritzwang 74. If I don't drive forward, there's a good chance I'm just going to get surrounded. Speaking of that WZ-131, by the way, oh yeah, that's going to be a problem. He actually bounces off me though, which I find quite funny. And we're just going to go forward here. Should have really taken that shot, but I didn't. Oh dear. Right, VK 3001p. I'm just trying to go somewhere in a desperate bid. You can see we're bouncing these tier 6s left, right and centre. In a desperate bid to do something. Is our T29 going to pull anything out of the bag? They're all converging on him, and this is going to be really awkward, and the Skoda T25 actually picks up the kill on me with a nice shot there into my bum with regular armour piercing, not firing any gold, but you could kind of see the writing on the wall toward the end of that game. But had we had a few more hit points left, we might have been able to make something work there. You know, may not have been able to pull out a win, I don't know, but a lot of those guys were one-shots. Anyway, let's have a look at the post-game stats for this one. So, that game, even though, like, I would like to point out at this venture, I'd forgotten at the time, but I didn't even have a fully upgraded crew, by the way. Like, anyway, that was still enough for an ace tanker. Fire for effect, sharpshooter, bruiser, and a high caliber medal. I mean, at some point, you get to a game and you go, you know what? I did what I could. I had a good show. It wasn't quite working, was it? 4,930 damage done. 3 kills. 828 base experience without the boost from Heroic Resistance. Like, our Super Pershing did alright with 1,800 damage. Our T29, 1,160. That's not great, but it's not completely awful. Everyone else on our team was dreadful. But if you look at the enemy team, like, they were carried by a tier 6. The VK 3001p. 3,000 damage from him in a tier 6 in a tier 8 match. Like, hats off to you, my friend. That is very well done. And the Skoda T25 also had a good game. And shout out to that Black Dog, frankly, almost 3,000 damage. and he took a good chunk of my health in the end. I think he got something like 3 shots into me. So, shout out to him. But, like, apart from me and maybe the Super Pershing on my team, there wasn't really anyone on our team pulling their weight. And the enemy team, whilst they also had a lot of players who didn't achieve much, like look at that poor Carnarvon. That poor stock Carnarvon. He did 170 damage and then I just ate all his health. At least they had that couple of tier 6s and the Bulldog pulling their team across the victory line. And combined they did, 3,000, 4,300... They did 7,000 damage between the 3 of them. I was only able to do 5,000 damage on my own. What a scrub. Anyway, 14 shots fired, 12 hits, 12 pens for that damage count. 27 hits received, 7 penetrated, 18 didn't, 3 splash hits. 2,390 damage blocked by our armour. Remember, a number of those hits toward the end of the game were from tier 6s, so bear that in mind. 3 enemy vehicles spotted, 6 damaged, 3 destroyed, 66 assistance damage, 1.85 kilometers travelled, and with a standard account on a defeat, we still managed to make 66,500 credits, because tier 8 premium tank, basically. That 828 base experience, we got an extra 459 for the heroic resistance, taking our total to just shy of 1,300 base XP. The damage was good, 3 kills is alright, but bearing in mind some of that damage was from lower tier tanks, inevitably, because top tier in a tier 8 match, which is why it looks a little bit odd. But there we go. Just the one replay for you today, because like I said, technical issues are driving me spare. I do actually have another video I'm going to pop out this week anyway. It's not World of Tanks related, but it is still computer gaming, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Anyway, before I go, there's one other thing I wanted to mention. After some nagging, I finally got round to sorting out details for a Patreon account. So, as long as my memory doesn't completely fail me, which given the amount of sleep I'm not getting these days is entirely possible, I will leave a link to that in the description to the video. So, some people have requested that they would actually like to donate to the channel. So if you want to, feel free to go and do so. Don't feel pressurised to do it. Like, you just rocking up and watching is cool too. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy yourselves, have fun, hope you don't have as many technical issues as I'm having at the moment, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.